Have you ever looked at a bird and thought, those legs look funny? And why does the knee bend the opposite way to ours? Well, it actually doesn't. So I figured now it's time for a bird anatomy lesson. And we're going to look today at the structure of a bird's leg. But before I start, just a disclaimer. A good portion of the bird's leg structure is under the feathers. And that left me with a conundrum on how best I present this. I could wait and hopefully fortuitously find a bird that had died of natural causes and use that to do the demonstration, but I'd still be faced with the issue of the fact that the bulk of the leg structure I want to show you is under the feathers. The next possibility would be to use a live bird, which would cause it a significant amount of stress while I'm trying to show you its leg structure. So the best and most logical option was to use a chicken from a supermarket. It's devoid of feathers, and it actually makes it very simple for me to show you the structures that I want to show. Obviously, in saying that, for any vegan, vegetarian, or other people that have any issue with seeing a chicken from a supermarket on a YouTube video, now is obviously the opportunity for you to drop off. There's nothing gory about this, no blood or anything. I'm just going to simply use a chicken from a supermarket, and I want to show you something very fascinating about the leg of a bird. Right, so here's the chicken that we're actually going to use so that I can show you why a bird's legs do not have knees that bend in the opposite direction. And the first thing is, I've got a chicken here, and I'm sure some of you may have seen in a supermarket the good old walkie-talkie, chicken's legs. But if you actually read on the packet, it's not chicken's legs, it's chicken's feet. So let's pause a second. Every single vertebrate on the planet, more or less, has the same basic skeletal structure. We have arms, the birds have wings, but they have bones that are much the same as ours. Some may be longer, some may be shorter, some may be fused together. But the basic premise of the skeleton of pretty much all vertebrates is the same. So let's have a look at our fawn-coloured lark that started the discussion when I said, why are the bird's knees bending the wrong way around? And in actual fact, they're not. So this is predominantly what you see sticking out from under the belly feathers of a bird. And there's a little bit of tarsus going above here. But effectively, this is what most birders call the foot. And there the foot would be on the ground like you see any bird walking. But what we call the foot, these are actually just the toes. This here is the rest of the foot. That lower leg we see sticking out from the belly is actually the foot. And then this joint that joins onto the chicken's leg here on the rest of the chicken, that is actually the ankle. So let's go back to our fawn-coloured lark. What you're seeing here is the bird is standing on its tiptoes. And the rest of what we perceive as birders as the leg is actually just the foot. The bulk of the leg itself is under the feathers, and you cannot even see it. So let's go back to our chicken. You think of a human, and the lower leg consists of, it's fairly thin at the ankle, and then you've got a lovely meaty calf muscle on the back of the leg. So it's got this typical shape of a thin leg with a large muscle at the top. And hey presto, that is what's known as the drumstick of the chicken. This bit here that's right against the body is actually the lower leg, and the knee is here. You then go back to people, and our upper leg is much bigger with heavier, stronger muscles because that does a lot of the lifting and bending at the knees, supporting the weight we're carrying. So the upper leg, the thigh is significantly bigger. Now again, you look at the chicken. Whenever you have been asked to carve a chicken, this drumstick is the lower leg. Here's the upper leg right against the body. And this is actually the thigh, which is the rest of the leg. So if you have a look at a chicken, the ankle's going this way as you would expect it to, and the knee is actually bending the other way in the same direction you would expect a human's knee to bend. So that is really how birds' legs work under the feathers. They don't have weird legs that bend the opposite way at the knee. What we're actually seeing is the foot, and the bird is actually walking on its tiptoes. I'm going to use more of this chicken later on for another fascinating story about the sternum, the wings, and the load-carrying capacity of birds, and again, just how amazing they are. So next time you see a bird and you say, oh, it's got something stuck on its foot, that's actually not the foot, it's actually the toes, and where bird ringers put a ring around the leg, it's actually a ring around the foot. My name's Doug Newman. Follow Simply Birding Africa on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram for more amazing birding facts.